Alright, so welcome to day one of our unit on trigonometry. Alright, this is one of my favorite units because it's closely related to geometry, and I love geometry. Also super important for if you're planning on going on to maybe pre-calculus and eventually calculus. So you definitely want to make sure you understand these topics. And it's also a little bit different from some of the stuff we've done before. So, try your best here. And again, mess with me if you have any questions and stuff like that too. So anyway, we're going to start real basic with trigonometry, though, talking about angles of rotation. Okay, so remember that an angle, okay, is formed by the starting and ending positions of a ray that rotates about its endpoints. Remember that a ray has this kind of shape where it has like a starting point and then it, continues on forever in one direction, like a laser, pew, kind of thing. And so rotating about the endpoint. So, you can imagine like you have your ray here, and then it's going to that second ray is going to open up some certain amount and create this angle right in here, okay, between the two rays. All right, and we have a drawing of that right here. So you can take those two rays, and if you put their vertex there at the origin in the coordinate plane, like we're graphing it, then you kind of have this little drawing that you see right here. Okay, this is called standard position. Okay, where we have the one side of the angle will be on the x-axis, and then that's called the initial side. That's kind of like where the angle starts. Then it opens up this particular amount right here. And then that, wherever it stops, that creates this terminal side here. The other ray is called the terminal side, where it ends, right? You can think of like a bus terminal or an airport terminal, right? It's where people, end their journeys, kind of thing. Okay, terminate, end, right? So terminal. Okay, and then of course, one of the typical variables that we use when we're describing an angle is this Greek letter theta, T-H-E-T-A. I spelled it for you right there. Okay, theta, not like feta, but theta. Okay, different things, right? Feta is a cheese, theta is a Greek letter. So anyway, that's how we find those positions. So let's do a little practice here with drawing an angle of rotation for some of these different angles that I've given you. So, we'll try this 90 degrees, for example, right here. So 90 degrees, right? We'll start here on our initial side, okay, with a little arrow maybe, and then 90 degrees. Well, how do we know where 90 degrees is in this coordinate plane here, again, with our x, axis right here and our y-axis right here? Well, I mean, let's think about this. So one full rotation around is how many degrees? Well, it's 360, right? Is one full rotation around. So then if we rotate a half of that halfway around, well, what's half of 360? That would be 180. Okay, and then 90 is half of 180 again. So in other words, from here around to here. And so our terminal side would be right here. And we create that nice, right angle, that you guys maybe remember from geometry and stuff like that. But that creates that little 90-degree angle right there. Okay. So that's how we're going to use that. Now let's try look at 120. Now 120 degrees. Again, we'll always start here on the x-axis for our initial side. If we know here is 180 and here is 90, well, that means we're going to have to open up somewhere in this region, right? And so 120 is closer to 90. It's only 30 away from 90, whereas it's 60 away from 180. So we'll say it's like maybe like right there. Okay, and so we'll say boom. There is 120 degrees. Okay. Now 270, well, let's think here again. So 270, if that's 90, and that's 180, right? That's another 90 around. If I add another 90 to 180, where do I now get? Well, I get to 270 degrees right here. Okay. And so, again, if we start from our terminal side here, sorry, not terminal, initial side right here, and then we end right here. Okay, but we got to be a little bit careful here because the way that we've opened up, oops, I want to keep that and use that pen. We opened up, did not mean to use that, green. We opened up this way, right? We're rotating counterclockwise, 270 degrees. Okay. Now, you might have been like, but Mr. Whitmire, isn't this 90 degrees this way? And yeah, we'll get to that. Hold that thought for a second. All right, next one, 400 degrees. All right, well, again, we'll start with initial side here. like so. There's our initial side. Now to go 400 degrees, well, if we go one full rotation here, that'll be 360. And so if I got to get to 400, well, let's see here. If I go, let me do this again. That would be 360, right? If I go this far, that'll be now, well, that's another 90 degrees, but plus the original 360 that we rotated, that would be, let's see here, 450 degrees. Okay, so that's too far, right? This is not only 90 here, it's also 450 degrees here as well, right? Because of the, if we do more than one rotation. So then where does 400? Well, 400 will be somewhere in the middle here, right? So somewhere in here maybe. Okay, so we'll just kind of eyeball that. So again, 400 is going to be closer to, well, let's think here. It's going to be a little bit closer to 450, I don't know, so something like that. Okay, but now to draw this, we want to be a little bit careful here, right? We go one full rotation like that, that's 360, and then we come in a little bit more, and there that shows our rotation of 400 degrees. Okay, so it goes the full 360 to right here, but then it adds on another 40 degrees to get to 400. Now, how do we do a negative angle? Well, all these previous angles were positive, and which direction did we rotate for all of them? And all of them we rotated counterclockwise. So for negative 90, right, it's an opposite. So you would think we would rotate in the exact opposite direction, and that's exactly what we'll do. So instead of rotating this way, okay, we're going to rotate this way. And since it's 90 degrees, it's going to take us to right here. Okay, and so there's our negative 90 degree angle. Okay, which if you remember and compare, those two look, the red parts, right, look the exact same. This red part right here and this red part right here look exactly the same. And so these two angles have different measures, but they end in the same position. Okay, so we could talk about this angle right here as being 270 degrees, or we could talk about this angle right here being negative 90 degrees, and they both look the same, right? And in fact, we could keep doing this, right? We could rotate like, you know, one whole rotation and then go around 270 and it would get to this position too. So we have a lot of options here, okay? And so when angles start, they both start in the same position, they both stop in the same position. When angles start and stop in the same position, that means they are coterminal angles. And that's going to be our next little vocabulary word here. Okay, angles that share the same terminal side. Okay, so if you look here, okay, as an example, this angle here in red, okay, it's got two measures with it, right? You could go 257 degrees in the counterclockwise direction, or you could go negative 103 degrees in the clockwise direction. Now, how do we come up with this measurement right here, right? How do we know that it's, if this way is 257, how do we know it's negative 103? Well, think about it, right? The whole way around the circle is 360. Okay, so if we go 257 in this direction, how much is left between the remaining piece over here? Well, it's going to be 360 minus the 257, which is 103 degrees. But why do we say it's negative? Well, it's negative because we are rotating clockwise, this direction right here. Okay? But that's how we're going to get that. All right, so then let's take a look at this one. All right, here we have an example of a 390 degree angle. You see how it goes one full rotation and then a little bit more. Okay, but what is this little piece here equal to? Right, what about this blue angle right here? Not going the whole way around, just this little blue angle right here. What can we say is that angle? Well, if from here around to here is 360, and we want to go up to 390, right? How much more do we need to go here? Well, we need to go 30 degrees more. So in other words, 30 degrees, 390 degrees are coterminal. Okay, what else could we have done? We could have rotated, change the color here. We could have rotated this direction. Instead,
What would that be? Well, we're going to be almost rotating the whole way around here, right? Except we're just missing this piece right here. So it'll be 360 take away 30. Okay, 360. Whoops, I thought I picked the pen back. There we go. 360 take away 30 is 330 degrees. Okay, but remember, we're going this direction, which is clockwise. It's like a clock, and so it's going to be a negative 330 degrees. Okay, and you can see here, to convert from here to here or from here to here, we're just going to add 360. Okay, or if we want to go from here to here, we can subtract 360. And from here to here, we can subtract 360. So in other words, to find coterminal angles, all we have to do is just add or subtract 360 to the original angle. And you can do it multiple times to find an infinite number of coterminal angles. Okay, so right here, let's go ahead and have us find some coterminal angles. So if you want to pause the video and try for yourself, and then we'll do it. Okay, so let me adjust this back to my red. All right, and so 45 degrees will look something like this. It's like exactly halfway here. Okay, and we want to find a positive coterminal and a negative coterminal angle. So easy way to do negative would just go the opposite direction. Okay, so it's going to be 360 minus 45 degrees, which will be 315 degrees. But of course, since we're going the we're going the clockwise direction here, right? Then we will count that as a negative. So negative 315 degrees. And then to get another positive angle, well, again, we could go, there's 45 right there, or we could go one full rotation and then another 45 to get to there. So that would be 360 plus 45 degrees, which will be 405 degrees. And since we are going counterclockwise, we can just list that. Again, you can keep going here. You could subtract another 360 from this, or add another 360 to that, and you get an infinite number of possibilities. Just keep adding and subtracting 360. All right. The same thing here with the negative 200. We could just take negative 200 and just add 360. We could take negative 200 and subtract 360, and that will give us two other coterminal angles, angles that would look and end in the same position as that negative 200 does. So we could say 160 degrees, or we could say negative 560 degrees. And again, you can keep going. You can keep adding 360, subtracting 360. And you get more and more. Okay, so just quick here, I'll just show you that one and then we'll stop. All right, so negative 200. So here's 90, there's 180 right here. It'd be negative 180, negative 90 here. So, and this would be negative 270 degrees. So negative 200 would be something like this. Okay, and again with this way. Okay, so there's that positive 160 then right here. If we go the other way around, again, just subtract that 200 from 360, or we could go we could go one full rotation between negative 360 and then do that 200. So you go, there's negative 360 right there, and then go another negative 200 around. That'll be your negative 560. Okay, so good luck. So that's what we're going to be doing for the homework. I'll give you guys your assignment, and yeah, we'll go from there. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.